Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had the group. They met Alan, and they found out a lot. Deku was doing research about the Nopins who attacked him on his date, and he found out that there was a peace treaty signed over 20 years ago. 22 or 23 to be exact, and that does mean quite a bit. The Lenopins are on Earth, and they are not honoring a treaty. They are trying to attack him and take his Omnitrix, and that's a bad thing. Deku, he met up with the group later after all this happened and tried to understand what's going on with Alan, some guy they met who has the powers of a heat blast, who's half human and half alien. Now, this was very intriguing. Deku was able to talk to Alan. He flashed his plumber badge and tried to talk to him about how things are a lot different than what he thinks. They're not here to hurt him. They're here to talk to him. And Alan, he was caught off guard whenever they were attacked by aliens. Now, Deku, he discovered that this place, it has a terraforming tower. The DNA aliens are trying to terraform Earth, make it colder and more habitable for their species. And that was very bad. Izuku, he could see that. He took down the tower, and everyone, they talked. Babako, he expressed his annoyance at the fact that his father was a plumber and he didn't know. But whenever he found out that Izuku didn't know, he understood he wasn't trying to hide that. And he sped off into the night. Now, Kai dropped them off. And Alan's made some new friends. People he can trust. And hopefully, he can help them out. Especially if this invasion is coming to Earth. Though, he does feel bad about not being able to catch these guys. Yes, he was able to help track them down to a city. But it's still going to take time to find them. I mean, they can pose as a human, from what he's heard. And that just makes this even more difficult. Now, with that being said, somebody was standing outside of Deku's house, and he called Mina over just in case anything does happen, since he doesn't feel like he can handle this alone. Now, with that being said, nothing actually happened, and Deku and Mina, the two were able just to hang out, spend some time together, and relax a bit. After everything that's been going on, they're a little on edge. Deku especially. He's worried about Kendo, and now he's worried about his parents. So there's that. Now, Deku, him and Mina did hang out a bit, and anytime Deku wasn't on patrol, him and her stayed at his house. It felt a bit like old times, back in the Rust Bucket. They could always play video games, talk about certain things, and just spend time together. It was kind of nostalgic. And even Mina had to admit, it was like old times. It was nice. And Deku and her, they didn't really encounter any trouble. No one came after them. No one came after his family. No one popped up again. And Deku, he thought that was a good thing. Right now, it's been almost a month, and they've been trying to track down leads on the DNA aliens, trying to find out what they can and do what they can. But not much has really been found. It's almost been 2 months, and the aliens are still in hiding. They're still planning things and doing things. Meanwhile, Deku, he's been trying to be a hero. And his parents, they are proud of him. But at the same time, Deku, he's trying to understand how to balance his life out. Currently him flying in his jet ray. There's a lot going through his head. And it does worry him. He's trying to balance things out with Kendo and balance things out with his regular life. Oh God, maybe his mom was right. Trying to be a normal teenager and being a hero or plumber. Yeah, no, those two different paths are weird. Though, he doesn't want to just blow Kendo off again. he's got to actually talk to her. Maybe see about a few things. Yeah, no, that could work. Hmm, but still, it could be a problem. That going through Deku's mind. And currently Deku, here's a land. Right now him going to actually turn and open up his window. As he's going to step inside, Deku bringing his hand up and turning back into a human. Him going to just turn and plop himself over on his bed. Him bringing his hand down and grabbing his phone. Him bringing his hand up. As right now Deku, he does try to act a bit more awake. Him going to think. Right. Okay, so call her, Izuku. Just call her and ask about a date. But what could you two do? I mean, there's a lot you can do. The mall was trash, so that was bad. Maybe something else. But what? Well, she's a martial artist, so going to a gym wouldn't be a good idea for a date. Maybe a movie. Yeah, a movie. That does sound like a good idea. Deku gonna call her Kendo. And currently Kendo, she was dealing with a lot of things. There's a lot of problems going on in her family right now. Her dad doesn't really like Izuku, but he also is at the same time trying to let his daughter live her life. It's very much odd. And Kendo, whenever she's going to see Deku's contact information, she has to answer it. Her trying to compose herself as she's going to bring the phone up to her ear. Hey. Hey, Kendo. Uh, sorry I've been spotty with messages. No, you're fine. You're fine. Though, I was trying to ask you the other day about going somewhere, maybe. Yeah. No, I do understand. That's sort of why I'm calling. Is it? Yeah. I was wondering if you want to go to the movies. Maybe soon? Sure. What did you want to go see? How about we leave that up to you? Okay? I mean, I'm willing to pay for the tickets, if that does make you feel better. Okay, but what genres do you want me to avoid? Not really any. You can do a cheesy romance one too if you want. Oh, so he does have a soft spot. Though I didn't think that you'd be into romance. I'm full of surprises, Kendo. Trust me. I'm sure you are. Though I think we all do keep our secrets. Is that why you like me? Sort of. Though don't get too cocky. I know. I know. Sorry. It's just hopefully this time we have things go okay. I'm sure everything will be fine. Besides, I mean, it's not like that thing was after us. True. Though I'm still worried about it. No, I can understand, but I'm sure everything will be fine. So, how about Sunday? Yeah, Sunday works fine. Are you looking at any in particular right now? I have you on speaker. Hang on. Now, the two do make plans. Kendo found a movie that might be good. And Deku, he does order the tickets. Right now, him is trying to think about a few things. And currently, Deku, he does go to hang up. As we do actually have tomorrow. Tomorrow after school, everyone, they start to do a few things. Bakugo, he's been doing more research and doing a lot, looking into simply just trying to find out where the aliens might be. So far, that's been his full-time job, other than the one he already works at their shop. So, other than that, these two, they're busier than him. Mina got out of her school, and she immediately headed out. But then there was Deku. Deku, he had to go home real quick. And then he can meet up with Kai, who's at her ship. And still he's trying to go through things for the plumbers. And it's been very, very interesting. Now, Mina arrives a little bit early. And right now she's talking to Kai. The two aboard her ship as Kai's been trying to talk to Mina about a few things. And the two, they go from talking about the DNA aliens and possible hotspots where they could be, possible locations, or even just from data they do have or sightings of aliens, to talking a bit more about the personal stuff. And it is a bit more intriguing. Kai just got Mina to loosen up a bit. I mean, yeah, they need to be serious, but so far she's got her database hooked up to a lot of stuff. If it does find a correlation, it'll pop up. It'll alert them. It'll tell them quite a bit. And that so far is the good thing. Now, currently Kai and Mina, they're talking. And Kai does ask a question that Mina was not ready to really hear. She tries to ask Mina if she's okay with Izuku dating this Kendo girl. And there actually was Deku. Deku, he did come to land. Him bringing his hand up and turning human. As right now he does it a walk aboard. Currently Deku walking onto the ship, as he does get to actually hear part of the conversation. I'm just saying, I mean, she can make him happy. Now, Deku, he is confused by those words, but then he just does get to sit there for a second. I'm just saying, he likes the Kendo girl. And if she does have to get involved with this stuff, I don't know how well it might turn out. I mean, Alan was part alien and he wasn't used to this stuff, so a human finding out aliens exist and trying to help stop an invasion? She doesn't have experience. She doesn't have a lot of training, fortitude to handle this type of stuff. Plus, we're still trying to stop another thing. Okay, but you still have a crush on Izuku. Deku a little bit more surprised. He... What? She... But... I mean... Yeah, I do. But me and Izuku have been friends for years. Sometimes, I don't know. Our training teaches us to trust our partners, but I don't know if Izuku sees me as more than just a partner on the battlefield. We're friends, and more importantly, we're best friends. We've been there for each other for a long time. We faced Vilgax and Scare, and I think it's hard really for him to separate the professional from the person. Izuku didn't have a quirk, especially before we found out the Forever Knights may have been involved with everything. He aspired to be a hero. And he's a good person. I mean, you can't say you don't like him too. I never said that, though. This was more about you. I know. I don't know how to get him to look at me differently. Other than the fact that we just hang out. I mean, things are weird. We only see each other as friends, and I don't know. I'm still skeptical about how that might all turn out. Now, Deku, he's definitely surprised. Mina likes him. Okay, so that is... Huh. Right. So, but that's not the... Oh, God. Now, Deku does sit there, And it does take him a second to think about things. He's been laser focused on a lot over the last few years. He has to keep his grandpa alive, keep him safe, keep the world safe. He just, oh God, he pulled a future him. That on his mind. He was laser focused on the objective. He wasn't paying attention to things around him. And Deku, yeah, he does give it a few more minutes. And whenever the subject does get changed onto something else, he does it a walk aboard. Him announcing himself to everyone. Now, Kai and Mina, the two are still looking into a few things. And for Deku to just go to walk aboard, Kai tried to ask him about whether or not him and that girl are doing okay. And Deku, he actually does not turn. Him staring at Kai, who does look a little invested in this. Meanwhile, there actually is Mina, who, she herself is actually curious. And Deku, he does try to tell them. You know, him and Kendo, the two are still trying to work a few things out. They're not dating yet, but, I mean, they do have a second date planned. That's good. Yeah, thanks. Though, I'm a bit more concerned. I blew her off once and I don't really want to do that, but... okay. I just need a second to think. Grandpa, we still need to find him. Figure out if he's okay, but... we need something of importance. I don't think anything at the rust bucket might work. I don't think it will either. We've already tried as much stuff as we can. I tried his shirts, his plumber uniform, everything. We didn't get a read on that. Right. So he left the RV there for a while. But other than that, what else do we know? Not too much, really. Though, from my understanding, it might be a minute. What do you mean? Well, I thought about hooking up back to the plumber database. We should probably take them all down, though. Take them down? Yeah. Listen, my grandpa is still retired from the plumbers and hunting down artifacts around the world. But if I call him, he can try and rally behind... people will rally behind him. He's technically up there with your grandpa. A magister. Though his reputation should allow people to follow him. At least back him. Deku, he does someone interject. That's not a really good idea. If they try and do that, they cause a civil war inside the organization. That could be what the aliens want. What do you mean? Kai, pieces are falling into place. I think... Deku holding up the Omnitrix. I think I figured out who it is. Now, Mina stares at Deku. And Deku, she thinks that she understands what that means. There's a lot about the message his future self gave him. The plumbers will be destroyed, Kentaro will die, he'll be trapped as Alien X for months. But he's saying he knows what Alien X is. And that, it's kind of jarring to Mina. The future can be changed, right? It isn't set in stone. It can change. But if it can't, then that means that they'll win, but they'll also lose. But what will they lose? Deku, he'll lose his grandpa. His family? There's a lot going into this. And Mina herself has tons of concern. Though Deku is just going to press down the Omnitrix. Right now, I'm going to see the hologram. Deku can actually spin the dial. He sees Big Chill, Swamp Fire, Humongousaur. Then they see the lid open. And then it goes to Brainstorm. Deku switching it again. As currently Alien X, he is on the hologram. And Deku talks about it. So far, this is the only one he hasn't changed into. He doesn't know. He turned into the crab alien thing and found out that it's super smart. And he put a few pieces together. Alien X is highly dangerous. The more he put together about what he can and can do as the other aliens, the more he figured it out. The one he hasn't tried yet, the one he's used twice in the other timeline, it's dangerous, but he doesn't even understand how dangerous yet. He's thought about it. Transform once, see what happens, find out what he can do, and understand the rest of his warning. But that's an issue. If he does that, then what happens next? Now, Mina stares at Deku, and her face doesn't want to show it. He's got the same thing going through his head that she does right now. If the future is set in stone, will trying to change it force it? And that it does worry her. Now, Kai herself does try to think, understand what they can do, try and possibly find another solution. I mean, the Omnitrix is supposed to time out. Maybe there's a way to change him back from Alien X. Or, if possible, a way to actually use the power and not be stuck. She's not too sure how any of it works, but if there's a way to transform, there's a way to revert. So, maybe ask Asmith. Now, Deku, he really isn't too sure. And that's just another concern now. And everyone, they do go out on patrol. And there actually is Deku. Deku, whenever they do meet up with Bakugo, they try and search the city, see what they can find, but there's nothing suspicious. And that's an issue. If this is just something happening or going on, then what now? What next? And that means quite a lot. There's something happening. They can't see it or find it yet. So, drive around until they hit something? It's going to be one hell of a day. That on Deku's mind. And while that is currently happening, let us cut to Inko Midoriya. Inko, she just pulled up to the house. She got out, and she was exhausted. It's been a bit of a very busy day. And she just wanted to take some things inside, sit down, and relax. Possibly call Izuku and check in on him. He's been doing quite a lot. And trying to balance homework and hero work, yeah. It's possibly stressful for the boy. So she'll cut him a break if he doesn't just do his homework. Though, hopefully his grades haven't fallen too much. Okay. She'll... No, this is more important, Inko. That in her mind. And currently she's at a turn. Her seeing a car pull up to her driveway. And right now, she does get stared at. Two people gonna step out as they are dressed in officers' uniforms. And they do stare at the woman, expressing her. She must be Inko Midoriya, correct? Yes, I am. Would you come with us, please? We have a few questions. Now, the cops are going to walk over. And Inko, she has a turn. Her trying to understand what's going on. However, when she's going to walk directly up to one, they do bring up their hand. Them bring up a device and going to directly zap her in the neck. Her falling forwards as the aliens do to grab her. Them going to get her back into the vehicle and get away. And currently, that is not good. And Deku, he is left none the wiser. as right now Hisashi, he does get home later. Now, he does find the scene. The car, it's open. Inko's purse is on the ground in the driveway, and her keys are still in the car. I mean, it's not good. And whenever he does find that, he does try and call Izuku. But Deku, he has yet to answer. He's still got a lot on his mind. His phone's on silent, and they were trying to check out what was happening. However, yeah. Whenever he got home later that night, there was a bit of a scene. His father was concerned because his mother is not answering the phone. And Deku, he thinks he understands what's happening. Whoever is after the Omnitrix just kidnapped his mother. And that is not good. But there is one thing he's thinking about. Him, currently, going to at least bend down and grab his mom's purse. They have his mother. And he knows where she might be now. Deku going to leave. And currently, there actually is Mina and Kai. The two, they were not happy hearing about what happened. Mina was a lot more alarmed. They went directly for his family. Now, Deku, he is angry. And right now, they need to be taken down. However, somebody else, they already saw what happened to Inko Midoriya. Observe from afar and do not intervene. However, make sure she remains safe. That was what Ken asked of them. Watch from a distance. Make sure they're fine. Make sure they're okay. Make sure no harm comes to them. His grandson, he's done a lot to help protect the Earth. All they're asking is for someone to protect them. And their friend, yeah, he was happy to do this. However, Inko Midoriya, he gave him an alert, talked about what might be happening. And Ken, he was already on the case. He knew where they might take her, knew where they might be going. And he arrived early. Deku was the one who was late. Isn't that something? Now, Ken was mad. After he tried to save his daughter, he was ambushed. And that does mean quite a bit. Now, the hybrids, they made things quite clear. They infected Inko with a parasite, turning her into one of their servants. And it does mean quite a bit. Inko took on her father, and he was too afraid to harm her. He knew there must have been a way to cure her, without killing her. His human emotions kept him from doing the job. They clouded his judgment, and now they will win. They have Kentaro Midoriya. Now they just have to wait for the younger boy. Then they have the Omnitrix. And then their plans can come to fruition. Now, with that being said, Deku, he was mad. And Mina was following that string of mana like it was a needle. Or like it was a thread. And they need to find it. Now, Mina was actually a lot more concerned. Her actually turning her head to see Deku. As right now her eyes, they are still somewhat glowing. And Deku just sit there. Him staring at his watch, thinking about what to do. Humongousaur. He's going to use Humongousaur and wreck that entire building. Teleport anyone in his way and save his mom. They're changing the timeline. They're changing a lot. If it's his mom who dies, then... No. Time is not set in stone. Though, Alien X, what can they do? If he uses their power now, he can figure it out. But, no. Okay, Zuko. Later. Absolutely desperate. That's all you have to know. You need to be desperate. That on his mind. And currently Deku, he does get a turn. Right now, Mina actually looking back, talking about what's going on. And Deku, yeah, he's a lot more annoyed. Currently, they're going to fly above a building, and Deku's going to turn walking over. Him going directly for the exit, as when he's at least have the panel come down, here's a step out. Him being a fall from the air as it turn into Humongosaur. Him smashing down and going to land on the ground. And he doesn't get back up. Him storming the building. Now, Deku breaks inside, and he doesn't find anything. Mina and Kai going to actually fly down after him. Kai taking a plumber jetpack, and Mina using her abilities. And the two, they do try to keep up with Deku. But Deku, so far he found nothing. And he decided to revert back to a human. However, he did keep a blaster at his side. And he was not happy about what was going on. Him walking around the building and trying to find out what's happening. Now, Kai and Mina, the two caught up to him, currently the group trying to find where his mother might be. And Mina, she tried to talk about it, leading the way as they eventually came to a door he doesn't recognize. And Deku, he brought his hand up trying to see if it can open. And whenever it wouldn't, he had to apply a bit of force. Currently, Humongosaur punching through the door as they all do go to arrive inside. Currently, Izuku, he does get a watch on. Him seeing the scene. Currently, there are DNA aliens moving tons of things around and getting things in proper order. And there actually is a hybrid commander, which currently is talking about a lot with Ken. And Ken, he does actually sit there. Him tangled up in the machines, as right now he does have all his gear with him. And Deku's gonna walk in, seeing the hybrid commander and getting immediately enraged. Him screaming at it as he's rushing forwards. Him growing in size, as you know Ken, he does yell out for Deku to run. Get away from here. Let him handle things. And currently there actually is Mina and Kai. Kai does get a turn to Mina, telling her about what to do. Get Ken down. She'll hold off the aliens. Her bring up her weapon and being to blast out, as she'll fling up into the air. And Mina does understand. Her gonna turn and make her way towards Kentaro. And there actually is Deku. Whenever the commander saw him, he was not happy. And he did actually try and intercept Deku. However, Deku, yeah, he made things quite clear. Currently the hybrid throwing out his fist as Deku's to bring his hand up. Him catching it and giving him an uppercut. However, Deku is going to at least bring his hand further through and bring him up into the air. I'm going to smash him down, but we're going to turn. Bring his fist up and smashing him over and over and over again in the face. And Deku, yeah, he showed he was not happy. And there actually was Mina who cut down Ken. The man, happy, however, trying to tell the two about what's going on. It's a lot. Izuku's mom was turned into a DNA alien. Those things are parasites. And everyone else who's a DNA alien is an infected human. Don't harm them. There must be a way to cure them. Now, Ken does a turn to Mina. Him trying to at least tell her about what to do. She needs to get Izuku out of here. There's a lot happening. There are trucks outside. If the trucks are able to leave this location, Earth could seriously be compromised. And that is a problem. The DNA aliens can spread faster than they can contain. And Deku, he's not listening. However, Mina is listening to Kentaro. And Ken is going to do one thing. Him currently going to bring out his weapon. And he doesn't hold up a null void projector. Mina a lot more alarmed. As she has a turn telling Kai about what they need to do. And Kai does talk about it with her. They're a little bit busy. And Ken, he does tell Mina, handle the trucks, he'll handle the hybrid. He'll help his grandson. However, he does want her to know. Mark would be proud. Mina gonna smile. Her gonna turn and fly out. As currently there actually is Deku. Deku is trying to lay waste to the hybrid, showing his anger, showing his rage. And the hybrid, yeah, it is trying to throw back as much power as it can as well. And there currently is where Deku, he was sent flying backwards. Him skidding backwards and going to actually land. Now, Deku, he does bury his feet into the ground. Him stomping forwards as the hybrids rush forwards, bringing his hand up, clocking Humongousaur across the face. It then going to actually bring its leg up, smashing him backwards again. It beginning to alert him about everything they need to understand, everything they need to know. They walked right into a hive, a place full of aliens. And currently Deku, he's a lot more annoyed. As he's rushing forwards, an alien does spit out the goo at him. It smashed down to the ground as Deku does a turn, bringing his foot up, tearing it off of his foot and rushing back at the alien. However, Kai is beginning to be a bit more overwhelmed. These things are doing a lot. There's too many of them. Now, currently Deku and Kai, these two are trying to do their best. However, the Indian aliens keep spitting goo at Deku and Kai. Kai is trying her best to move around. And Deku, he's trying his best just to keep piling on damage to the commander. However, he is being slowed down. The goo begins to at least thicken up and harden. And then, there are times where Deku, he feels like he's frozen in place. This thing taking the advantage over him. And while this is happening, Mina is trying to handle the trucks outside, not letting them escape, destroying them, making sure they go up in flames. And that was the easy part. However, there actually was where Mina, she came flying back down inside. And currently, a lot was going on. Deku, he was being smashed around by the commander. And Deku, he was having blood fly from his face. Currently, him being punched across the face as he goes flying backwards. His body still covered in the goo. He's trying to get back up as multiple of the D aliens do come running forwards. Them going to smash down onto him as right now Deku does see one with part of a face exposed. And Deku, he does see that it's his mom. Now, there actually is where Ken, he does a stare at that. Him going to at least turn and bring up his gun. Him blasting it out and actually trying to at least cut through the hive, sending some of these things to the null void. And he does try to tell Izuku, they need to run! Get out of here! Get away from the building! Now, Deku, he actually does revert back to a human. Him is trying to bring his hand up to the Omnitrix. As right now there actually is where his mother, she's to grab onto his arm. Him bringing his hand up and moving it away. Kai actually gonna see that, as there actually is Mina, who's gonna fly down. Currently, her gonna grab onto these two and seal them all into a bubble. And there actually is Ken. Ken is gonna turn staring at the commander, stepping forwards, talking about how he wanted him, didn't he? He wanted the Omnitrix. Well, guess what? He's only gonna get one of them today. Now, here's a turn, telling Mina to maintain her focus. And Deku, he has a stir on. Currently, his mother going to actually try and fight back with him. And Deku, he is trying to keep her off of him. However, she is still being taken over, transformed. And Kaido's going to run over, her smacking the back of her gun directly against the Dean alien's head. It's going to pass out on top of Izuku. And Deku, he does actually push it over and get back up. Him trying to pull the goo off of the Omnitrix. And whenever he is able to actually expose the dial, he has to look up towards his grandfather. Him pressing down as nothing is happening. And Deku does look up. Currently, Ken turning to his grandson and smiling. We're going to turn back to the alien, bringing up the gun as Renato does a rush towards him. The hybrid picking him up and smashing him up against the wall, talking about what exactly is going to happen. They are going to take his life. Then they will hunt down the boy and take the Omnitrix. And Ken, he doesn't think that that's happening. Him doing one thing, talking about how that's going to be pretty hard when this place goes up in smoke. Him bringing up the null void projector. Him ripping off the piece of it and talking about it. Bringing his hand up, telling the alien. Though, he does hope they get out of here alive. Him turning to Izuku. And the alien is calling his bluff. However, Ken, he's not bluffing. And Deku's smashing against the barrier, yelling for his grandfather not to do what he's about to do. They can still save him. They can still save everyone. Now, Ken, he knows Izuku will do that. And he has to press the button. As Deku, for 1 second he sees his grandfather. The next, there's pure white. his vision goes white and there's a ton of force. And the warehouse, it explodes. Currently, them all being sent flying out of it and smashing down outside. And they're actually Suzuku. Deku, he does get to actually get back up. Him looking around and trying to find his grandfather. But the factory is gone. And Deku, he does stare at that. Currently, him just throwing his head down since it happened. He just he couldn't. Now, Deku, he does stand there annoyed. Him turning back to Kai and Mina. And Kai, she doesn't say a word. She's quiet. And Mina herself is just alarmed. The entire building is gone. Atomized. The whole freaking place. Oh, God. Now, Deku's a turn walking over to the DNA alien. And he's trying to think about what to do. Him looking at the Omnitrix. As the Omnitrix does talk about contaminated DNA. And Deku, he does at least try and figure out what it's talking about. It's currently going to express genetic alteration detected. Possible undoing is possible. However, trying to recalibrate human DNA will be easy, possibly take time, and getting the foreign element will be doable. And Deku, he does stare at the Omnitrix. Him telling it has clearance. Him going to bring his hand out and holding it to his mom. As currently, the Omnitrix does begin to do its work. Right now, it's helping to revert Inko back to normal. And Deku, he does hold on to this parasite. I'm going to turn and smash it onto the ground. Where he's going to walk over and smash his foot into it. Him going to walk away. Now, Kaida's going to stand there. Her just still in awe. And Deku, he's got a lot on his mind. A lot to think about. And Mina can tell. Ken met his end saving their lives. It's like back whenever they were kids. Her grandpa sacrificed his life against Vilgax. Then Ken tried to save her against a scare. And now it's him against the hybrid. There's just a lot people have to give up. And for Mina, this is bad. She knows how it already is affecting Izuku. It's gonna push him further into this. Though she wants to be there for her friend. Make sure he's okay. And Deku, he locked himself in a room on the ship. He just needs a second to think. Compose himself. He saved his mom, but not his grandpa. Now they're on their own. They don't have the old experienced guy around. This isn't good. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.